Hello and welcome back to the Will I Vike It podcast. Today my guest is Annso, and she is the volunteer coordinator at Ribe in Denmark. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for
You're
this
welcome.
lovely bowl of stew.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the usual thing of eating and trying to talk at the same time.
Is that like rule number one of things you cannot do?
Yeah, just break all the rules.
I love that.
We're contending with chickens, wasps, and a cat at the moment, so we'll see what happens.
It's amazing.
This is fun. Will the cats get on with the chickens as a side?
Let's find out. Will they live together? So
Yeah.
I hope they do. Yeah.
This is the first time we've had chickens on the podcast.
This is Ribe Viking Centre for you. Yeah, cats and chicken all over the place.
Madness. So yeah, we're going to try and carry on anyway.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we should probably, I guess, start with what is it that you do as a volunteer coordinator?
Well, I take care of over 1,000 volunteers every year. That's quite a lot.
That is a lot.
And we have different kinds of volunteers here. We have reenactors coming in, staying here for a few days up until several months. And then we have groups that belongs to here. We have like an archery group, some smiths, a horse group too, and some Viking fighters. And they are also like under my supervision. And so I'm just trying to make all of this like coherent in the way that we are doing the experience center thing here. So this is a center, not a museum, and the volunteers is just a really valuable asset for us in how we do things here.
It kind of brings everything to life, doesn't it? Because
exactly.
the buildings are just buildings, but
Exactly.
I say just buildings.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, the buildings are reconstructed and they are
Yeah.
amazing. But still, you need them to be alive, to come alive, and that's when the guests really like gets it. You can see like when they like understand what we're doing here. That's when people are cooking and living in the houses at the same time as they are in there, because you can instantly feel when the house has been lived in recently, or whether it's been standing still for a month or so. So that's, you have some kind of, I don't know, sixth sense in you that tells you that, I think. So and that's really where the volunteers come into play.
So do you have volunteers here all year?
Well, we're open from May to October, and we do have one volunteer, and I'm going to mention her because she's extraordinary. She's called Petra, and she comes on the first day, and then she stays here for half a year, and she is just invaluable. I mean, amazing. And she's really good at textile work.
Yeah.
And she's been working with that, so she decided to stay with us here for half a year. She goes a bit back and forth, but mostly she's here, and we're really grateful for that. So technically, yes, from the first day to the second we have some, but of course it does have peaks, and then it falls again.
Yeah.
So and you can see that it's like very clear, and luckily the volunteers and the visitors are following each other, which is nice.
I guess, yeah, because if you have a particular event on, you're going to have more volunteers, but then you're also going to have more public.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've been, I've recorded an episode already, which will go up before this, with Viking Transievits, who cooked some food for me yesterday. And then we were given permission to use this outdoor cooking area today. So I've spent the day here talking to lots of people. And it's amazing, we've had people from all over the place. Pretty much anywhere you can think of. Lots of German people here.
Yeah, lots
French,
of German people.
Yeah, Dutch. Yeah, it's been a big mix of people.
But that also kind of matches up, because when you have the volunteers and the reenactors are also, modern people living modern lives. So when they have holiday, the same people from the same country has. So when we have German reenactors, we have German visitors, and so on and so forth. So that is also really helpful. And hello, wasp. And so also like a detail is that the Ribe started out as like a harbor, and was made by the Frisians. So the idea of having a lot of different peoples and languages here at the same time is like really in line with how we think it has been and it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, and I think that actually adds a layer, because then of course you have some, not difficulties, but you have to be able to speak a lot of languages, at least to some degree, to understand each other. And I think that's quite part of the, as close you come to the authentic experience of trying to communicate with people like that. So I really appreciate that part of it.
I guess it makes it easier if you've got people from each country as well that can communicate with,
Exactly.
say, the people from the same countries. Because we had a few issues today with communication. Because, yeah, being English, we only speak English, obviously.
Yeah.
I've tried to pick up a bit of Norwegian. And there's a bit of crossover with the Danish, a little bit. So
Well,
sometimes I pick up a few words. But
I do know for people that Swedish should be easier to learn than Danish, and then if you learn the Swedish, then you can take it from there, basically.
yeah,
And I think it's really fortunate for us that we are, you know, we're taught English in school from quite an early age, and also do know some German.
yeah,
And if you have an eye for, I don't know, so an ear for language is also a bit easier. But we do have that, and I really appreciate that, especially working in a place like this and having to communicate with people in many languages as
Yeah.
a volunteer coordinator. So I'd also do some emails in German, for example. It's not my best, but it works.
yeah.
I was really fortunate to learn so many languages.
I've been making use of Google Translate lately.
Really smart.
Google Translate what you want to say, send it over. It probably makes sense,
It
hopefully.
makes more sense than just communicating in a language you don't know about.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
Modern
much so.
convenience. The Vikings didn't have Google Translate, but
No, but they sure did have. I can't say anything about that, but I would say that there would have been pigeons, you know, like languages occurring between languages in places like this, as like what the sociolinguists would say about this, because you need to have some kind of way to communicate.
yeah. But also, I know Old English,
Yeah.
same sort of Germanic root, so there would have been at least a limited amount of,
Some kind of knowledge
Yeah.
between, yeah.
yeah,
And you
even
can
if
always,
it's just the odd
you know,
word.
point and stare and yell and laugh, and then see where that gets you when you're trying to trade with somebody. And that still works. I managed to buy a book this summer from a Polish guy, and we had no common language at all. And it still, you know, managed to get him to make it for me in a different kind of wood and in the right shape and everything. And I got it and I paid for it. I was very happy, and he was very happy. And there was no words between us. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, we've had my daughter today has been trying to teach people to play an F-daffle, which has been very popular. I've been in the background just cooking today and sort of helping out
Yeah.
when I was required because of the language barrier.
Yeah.
So some people were fine, they could understand English, and the rest, she'd kind of have to just, you know, move the pieces and they'd get the gist.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Yeah,
I think it's wonderful with the children. It's like their brain just accepts language in another way. You can feel that. So like generally easier to talk to than, you know, I don't know, like just elderly people from certain places that doesn't learn more than one language can be really hard to communicate with because there's some kind of block to it.
yeah.
Yeah. But I do use Google Translate sometimes too in my work. I write it down in German, and then I just check just to make any sense, and then okay, it does. Good, send it off. Hopefully I'll get a reply.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
good,
you've
by the
got...
way.
Oh, good. Phew.
Yeah, whew,
She likes it.
you good.
I was going to ask something then and I lost my train of thought.
No, it's perfectly fine.
And, yeah.
I'm enjoying the food while you think.
So you said you've worked here for about 3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is my my third season here. And it's I have a master's degree in heritage management,
Okay.
and I've been working with volunteers since my first volunteer coordinating job. I was 12 years old, and really stubborn and insisting, because you had to be 18. So I got my mother to sign off, and then I did a Red Cross door-to-door collection thing
Yeah.
when I was 12, because they needed a coordinator, and I was like, I can do that. And
Wow.
I'm sure, like, if you ask my mother today, she did, 80% of the work. But I really felt like, it meant something, and it was important and everything. So it started early.
And so your background was that, or did you do reenactment as well? Or?
I did both actually. I did. I kind of stumbled into reenactment in a way because I did have some good friends when I was studying who were in a fighting group in Aarhus, and then I just kind of started doing that because that was what we did, and then that was where the fun was. And I got an injury, and then I became a volunteer too at a Viking market, Moskov, also in Aarhus, and yeah, and so combined with my degree, it all kind of made sense, and then I got to here. I'd been here before several times, but then I got a job here. Really nice, and it's a beautiful place, and I really love being here, and I hope that you feel the same way.
Oh, it's a wonderful site. Yeah, yeah. We were like, when we turned up yesterday morning, we only had like an hour before we had to go authentic, and we had to go to the morning meeting.
Yeah.
And then
so much stuff
all that
happening.
happened, and then Sarah and Christian were like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to do some cooking, or do you want to have a look around? And I was like, I want to do everything.
At the same time.
And like a kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
So they gave us a tour of the site first, and
Good.
then we did cooking afterwards.
They also were well acquainted.
Yeah, no, they were really
Absolutely.
good tour guides, and could talk
They are.
about all the buildings.
Absolutely.
It's actually, I don't know whether this would make sense to you because you're here all the time, but it's actually bigger than I expected.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You see pictures of houses and things. Not sure that I've seen pictures of the church before, which I'm pointing. No one else can see except
I'm
for
looking
you.
the same way now. You have to
We're looking at the church.
find a map and find out where we are, maybe.
Yeah.
Go on some kind of satellite map, you will find us. Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's a much bigger site than I think anywhere else we've been to date.
But it's bigger also like in like area, but it is also like the design of the paths on the roads is quite good. So you never like really walk in a straight line here. So you also have the feeling of having to get around. Like we talked about it when you work here. You also appreciate that, but you also wish you had one of those, secret cellar pathways where you can quickly go from A to B because nothing
too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you also get, some smarter ways to go stuff. But it is like it's laid out in a way where you really get around when you're here.
Yeah.
And there are a few places where you feel like you have nothing for a while, and then something else comes. It's just only enough to like reset your mind, and then another area is there. Yeah.
I guess it depends as well when you've got all the Vikings in their tents up as well. If they weren't there, you would have a big gap.
Yeah, that's true. And then
It kind of fills in with the reenactors again.
it's also hard to tell somebody. Like sometimes we have 350 people here. Now we have grass, but try to imagine it. Yeah. But that's also like, that's a challenge too, because this place needs to be available and interesting at, I'm saying all times a year, but as I said, like half a year opening hours. So it has to be interesting both when you have 200 tents and when you have none.
Yeah.
So how do you like facilitate that? How do you make room for that? And I think, and that, that's before my time, so I can only like pass the credit on to the people who designed it. But trying to explain to a school class in a freezing October that this is a thriving harbor of business-to-business trading can be a bit hard.
Yeah.
So that's really like where you have to use your imagination. Yeah. And but then luckily we also have a lot of material like online about like where we made videos and stuff. So and we just encourage people to go see that if they need to, see it from another angle, because you have like when they're building the harbor and they're doing all these things, so you get like the atmosphere in another way. So well, look at that if you're interested. Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a site.
Could you again? It's just I'm discussing with the wasp. That's
Of course.
what the hand signs are for. I don't know what I'm saying in sign language right now.
Yeah, we don't have any food.
Yes. Go away.
There's some pork over there. You can have that.
The chicken are back too. You just.
Yeah, go and get the chickens. What was I saying? Yeah, so we have a site called Butser that's not too far from us that we do quite a lot of reenactment at. And they've got a thing. I think they started it during lockdown where they do this Butzer Plus. It's like a subscription service, but it means that you get to watch behind the scenes videos. And if
nice.
they make a new building, or they often do festivals with like Viking wicker boats that are burned, and they'll do
Cool.
behind the scenes of building the boat. And
Yeah, of course. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's really smart.
yeah.
We do have like we have some program points during the year here, and we do have one that's called A Viking's Tale, which is not always a story. So when I do it, I actually go behind the scenes with people.
Yeah.
I take them through one of our houses and I show them like where do we have electricity, where do I keep my watch in my bag so you can't see me checking the time, and where are the fire extinguishers and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, how do you run something that has to be such an immersive experience while still complying to a time schedule, which we have
Yeah.
every day. So, and I think people are quite interested in that because it's like, oh, that's how you do it, or that's what that is, or where that goes. So, and also feels like quite exclusive because, like, we really put a lot of effort into not breaking the illusion. So we have quite strict rules for wrist watches and engagement rings and stuff like that. You know, modern jewelry and hair dye and stuff like that here to make it as immersive as possible.
I think even originally you made me send you some photographs of our kit to approve what we were wearing, and
We do that.
yeah.
Just made me, I received a lovely photo of your daughter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And I was convinced then. Yeah. No, but we do that. Like we do
Yeah.
pre-check, and that's also because when you have been driving for 16 hours to come here, and then I'm telling you that all your equipment does not work to like the way we want it to be. I mean, that's a slap in the face, and that's a problem. So it's better to work on it beforehand. And I do have to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Tell people, well, you have to improve this, this, and that, and then you're welcome to apply again.
Yeah.
That does happen. And it is also like a way to help people out, and also give very specific feedback on it. It's not just like it doesn't work. It's like very particular
what to
things.
do.
Yeah, exactly. This is what to do and what to improve.
And then you'll be in. Luckily, we got approved.
First try.
Phew. I think the only thing that came up yesterday we were mentioning was over here, I believe all your tents have to be linen. Generally. Maybe that's Denmark in general.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but it's not. There was one place who put that like on the map a few years ago, and everybody got quite panicked about it. And like our rule is just like it shouldn't attract attention, and it shouldn't be like striped or dyed, or we also prefer it without too many, I don't know, colorings or drawings and stuff like that on it.
Yeah, we don't have coloured tents or anything. Well, there are some with like coloured stripes, but they're supposedly sort of phased out. We can't expect people to buy a new tent.
No, exactly.
So it's next time it needs replacing.
Exactly. Then you do even better. Yeah. Exactly. But I think woolen tents has really shut up all over the place, and it's heavier and it's more expensive, but it's also it makes for a better tent in many ways. Like it takes the water in another way, and it blocks out the cold and the heat, especially in the dark woolen tents. So next time I'm getting a tent and have a ridiculous amount of money to spend on that,
yeah, they're not the cheapest.
I will go for the woolen tents instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same with us. As if maybe we'd look into it if we were replacing the tent. It's such a big investment initially.
Yes.
Small bits of kit, belts and things are fairly easy to change, but tent.
But it's also something that you want to be just perfect.
Yeah.
And you have now I have to. I'm just gonna put this down for a second. Yeah. Okay, it's your turn now, Wasp. I'll just sit. Yes, you just take what you need. Good. The good thing, one of the many good things about reenactment is like you don't have to go and buy, some kind of tent model. You can actually have whatever you want if you're creative enough and you have enough money and you want to like either spend time sewing it yourself or ordering it. So I think I'm still in that phase of like so what's my dream tent? Barbie's dream tent. Yeah.
Yeah.
You done? Thank you so much.
It's just funny how much the wasps have become a part of the podcast.
Well,
it's like,
they're here.
some for you, some for me.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
I think it's good to mention it, or else you look like you have ticks, which is absolutely fine to have, but maybe, people are wondering whether you might.
I don't know how well they can see these wasps. They're like,
And we do have room for crazy too. Not, no excluding. Just want to point out that's why we're doing it.
Squirting stew out my mouth. I might have overdone the pepper on this stew. It's quite quite hot, isn't it?
No, I appreciate it.
It's a bit lavish.
One thing I really like about Viking food is it isn't so salty as general modern food is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, some people have trouble with that, but I really appreciate it. My biggest problem right now is that I don't have any more.
Would you like some more?
Yes, please.
Was that a hint?
Yes, that was a very.
You hold your spoon.
Thank you. Not a really subtle one, was it? No, it's really good. This, yeah.
What?
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Whilst I'm up, I'll get myself some. I'll get him through it slowly. It's like yesterday's where we had all the horse left over. That was lunch, and then the juice left from that went into this stew. It's the proper Viking way. We don't waste anything.
Just keep it cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
absolutely. One pot is the best kind of pot.
Yeah.
But usually it's not hard to get, to get rid of your leftover food in Viking. Like, you could generally just ask around and people will be like, yeah, absolutely.
I normally cook too much because there's usually someone around that will eat it.
I'll come around with a spoon and be like, oh, what are we having?
Yep. This was supposed to actually be, which is probably a good thing to mention on here, is it was supposed to be pork and barley stew, which is something I make quite a lot.
Yeah.
With the added ingredients from yesterday, and then I realised this morning that I can't get barley.
No, it's no barley in Denmark.
Yeah.
Use it all for beer.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense
Yeah.
now. I was going to say it's weird that you can't get barley
No,
because
it's been malted up and yeah.
because it's one of the more common grains from the Viking era, and
It
suddenly
is.
there's none. And, oh wait, they're drinking it.
We are using it all. That's what we're doing.
It's resourceful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need beer.
It was a good answer, wasn't it, for why we have no barley?
Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but
I don't know either, but it's a good story.
yeah.
I like a good story.
I made the mistake on the way up here. Someone in the Netherlands bought me some licorice. Because I'm driving, I'm just like,
Put it in your mouth.
and I kind of jokingly put it on Instagram that I ate my body weight in licorice.
Yeah.
And someone's like, I hope you didn't mean that literally because you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, really? And then I Googled it and I was like, yeah, okay. More than a certain amount every day for 3 weeks is prone to give you a heart attack.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I know it was like a laxative if you overindulged, but I didn't know about the heart attack.
If it's regular. There was someone that once died from eating too much licorice was apparently the diagnosis, yeah.
I have been in danger my whole life, apparently, without knowing it.
Well, they say if you're over 40.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a few years left then.
you're fine. There's a cut-off point.
I will really enjoy it now more than before.
I get it's probably more as well because a lot of the licorice is salted, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the salted licorice side.
That's actually the only place I really like my salt is like in snacks instead of in my food. Like salt licorice. It's like the more salty the better. The sweet one, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, salt licorice, really. Piratas, super piratas, tiny ones. Somehow they seem more salty than the big ones.
I have a bag of sweets I haven't looked through yet. It's the Zebitzes. Zebitzes?
Yeah.
Is it Zebitzes? I was thinking of the plural. Yeah.
We say sebitserne.
Yeah.
The sebitzes.
Zebitzes.
Sebitzes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Zebitzes. I'm butchering your name now. They very kindly noticed that we were doing a thing, eating sweets as we drive across Europe. And so they just, here's a bag full of sweets. So there's every chance that the licorice you're talking about is in the bag. I haven't had a full look yet.
Else I will bring it.
There is more licorice than I thought in that bag.
Not sure if anyone heard that, but Ocean's behind the camera and says there's more licorice than she thought in the bag. So she's obviously been checking.
She knows. She knows.
Yeah. That's my next job this evening, is to record the next step of the journey with Ocean, and we'll go through the bag and eat some sweets.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am also, that's also one of the perks of being a volunteer coordinator for people from many different countries. Is like I get my favorite sweets from different places, like delivered to me, and I really appreciate that. I just have to say, it's like, are you going to Norway? Yes. Okay. In Norway they have Kvikk Lunsj.
Okay.
It looks like a Kit Kat, but it's just
I've had that.
10 times better.
Yeah, I've had that.
I love that. So I've gotten that, delivered, and also in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
There's the Tony Chocolonely chocolate
We can
bars.
get that in England. Yeah,
You have
we've
that
had
too? Okay.
Yeah, we have that.
I learned about it when I was in the Netherlands, and I really, really like that too. And they picked up on that, so it's like, different streets from different places, also some German ones and so on. So, yeah, and I tend to like mention that to people, and then it kind of shows up.
I can say, note to self, next time we come back. So as you said, first time it's kit check. Second email is, what sweets are you bringing?
And then, oh, by the way, there's a storm coming.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
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 Does anybody want to, like, point out the time of this, like, without a time step on? This is during the storm Hans. It just passed through, and everyone survived. A few tents were damaged, but everyone is in good health.
Yeah.
want to
And
point
you have
that
the
out.
advantage here of having the buildings, so
Yes.
lots of people were able to sleep in the various houses, longhouses. And
It really warmed my heart too. People just, moving in together. No problem at all.
Yeah.
It's like, no, nothing. Just, of course, we need to be
Yeah.
hospital and get everybody in. And yeah, it was really, really nice to see. Not that it surprised me, just like it just made me genuinely happy to see that care.
yeah, I think that's reenactors in general, I
Yeah,
would
it is.
say, from my experience. Like,
Really is.
everyone helps out everybody else. It's good. And you get to see the best of that. By
Definitely.
coordinating everybody.
I think it's great because, yeah, as you say, this is like, it's people doing what they love because they do reenactment. Because they want to do that. I mean, you would be a fool to do a reenactment if you didn't love it. It takes time, it's troublesome, it's expensive. There's no good reason to do it besides love. I mean,
Unless you like loading and unloading vehicles,
exactly.
which is sometimes what I think my hobby is.
It does seem like that. But I would say, like, after having, because many reenactors only get to wear their clothing for 1-2 weeks, maybe more during the summer. But like we're doing it for half a year.
Yeah.
And I feel more comfortable in this also with regards to being outside than I don't know, like my modern workwear, for example. Because so in terms of like the experimental part of doing things every day, I would say that it makes sense. It does make sense. Wool and layers. I'm not a linen person.
Yeah.
Because wool works for me and I don't feel the itches or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm out in Viking, I know what to wear. I look out the window, I'm like, this is amount of dresses. Whereas when I have to do it in my modern, I'm like, I have no idea how many jackets to bring.
I think the cat's bringing us a gift.
Oh, lovely. This is something to put in the
A
stew.
mouse, maybe? There's something hanging in its mouth.
Nice. Could also be a mole.
Something hanging out his mouth. No mouse. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, they have to earn their keep. They can't just stay here. I mean, they also like, they have to work.
How many cats have you got?
We have 4 and a mystery cat.
Ah.
Somebody's talking about the 5th cat. 2 striped ones, very cuddly, and then 2 black ones, a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just caught a mouse. And then we have the big black one, allegedly. Nobody really knows. I won't
It's
say
like
more.
folklore. It's not even-
Exactly.
I've
So-
only seen that one cat, to be honest.
There are 2 that's quite alike. One has like a dent in its ear and a bad eye. I think that's that one
That
or
was
the
that.
other one.
Yeah. Well, the one that was here was
Yeah.
before.
Was
So
that one, yeah.
I assume that was the same one, but maybe not.
But because one has that and one is 2 good eyes. But besides that, they look the same. And one is the mother, the other one is the daughter. So that makes sense. And the two black ones, one has a yellow eye and one has the green eyes. And then again, the mystery cat that nobody knows about. And now that cat is abducting your child. No, she's coming back.
She's coming back. What face is that? Come and show your face to the camera, come on, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. This is the face of, I've just seen a cat with a mouse in its mouth. All right, go on, off you go. Do you coordinate the animals, or is someone else in charge of that?
I'm trying. No. Desperately trying.
What, cows, chickens, pigs?
Yeah.
Sheep?
Cow, chicken, pigs, sheep, cats, horses too.
Oh yeah, I did see the horses
Icelandic
earlier.
horses.
Yeah.
And all the breeds, well, not the cats because they do cat things, but all the other ones are like old breeds, either from Iceland or like the thing that is the closest to the ones that were native to the Viking Age.
Yeah.
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 So we really like doing that on purpose, and we also we use them as we had a sheep here.
Yeah.
A young sheep, and it was born last year, and we had to it was making trouble. It was a male, and we already had a male, and this was actually what do you call a male that can make more sheep, and it was castrated. And he's a good guy. He's called Balder, really nice guy.
Yeah.
And then this new one that they named Loki, and he's black and white and everything.
Yeah.
He was making trouble, and so we decided to eat him, basically, because that's what you do with your animals when you.
That's the reality. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and we are really having good cooperation with the right people about how and when to do that, and we have really good both. We have hunters on scene, and we have good volunteers that knows the way to work around this, and we slaughtered him really peacefully and nicely here.
Yeah.
At his home, there was no problem, and we, he was cut up, and he was, some of him was offered to the guards, as we do have like two religious places here. We have a church, and actually anointed church, if that's the right word, and then we also have like an offering board for the old guards, which is also used for people believing in that, and we're trying to respect both of these places. So we gave some of him to the guards, and then we ate the rest, as one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might have discussed that with the Zibitzes, that's what they would have done anyway, is the offering was not given necessarily the whole animal, but given something that you would be eating.
I think I heard or read somewhere that you take the meat for the people and the blood for the gods.
Oh,
It's like kind of a proverby thing to say. And it's also like the places where it's mentioned, except from the one, as I remember from Uppsala, where they also offered people to the gods. You do share with the guys, you have a meal with them, so you do, you cut up the animal, but you don't burn the whole thing, you don't give the whole thing. Because like in many ways, as I see the Viking Age, both with regards to life and food and everything, is quite pragmatic.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid to give the whole animal away.
Yeah.
Then you won't live, and then, the guards won't have any called subjects or people offering to them. I mean, so it's quite pragmatic to say, okay, let's feast with them instead of giving the whole thing away and then share it like that. And I mean, this like belief systems comes, or the details come from the people that believe in them.
Yeah.
And it had made sense. It made sense to do it like that. And I think that is really, really nice. I think it's great that we have the opportunity to do these things and to slaughter our own animals. And the reason why I thought of it is because, like we do with our pigs each year, we usually have around 3 to 5, and we don't keep them. We don't keep them over winter, so we slaughter those too, and then we get new piggies, and it's wonderful. And we use the meat. The volunteers get it. We use it for the cooking, for school classes, for everything. And then you can say, well, that was this and that pig, and it was really nice, and now we're eating it. So it comes full circle, and I feel really happy about that way of doing it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's not only in keeping with the historical element of it, but it's the best way to do it. They're not stressed out. They're living good lives here. And if they die here as well, then they're not being carted off, and because it stresses them out.
Yeah, it really does. And they're allowed to stay here, and you're allowed to have, when we have certified people coming and doing it, then you don't have to take them away from here. And so that can all happen in one place, so they don't suspect anything, and I think that's better for them, definitely. Yeah, and we use the whole thing, definitely. So it's it is really full circle with our animals, and we've never just chuck them away or anything like that. They are really important to us. Our studs too, like we use them for our cards, stuff like that, and we have don't have any bulls because that's too dangerous. So they are also castrated and really peaceful and quiet and more calm than the cows even, and also have calves sometimes, stuff like that. So everything like that goes around. Of course, we have modern care of the animals if they get sick or something like that. But or else it's like they are living in a stable and outside and everything like that. So I think the horses is the one that has the most needs.
Yeah.
They have a house to walk into, fancy. So once again, Wasp, I appreciate your concern and interest, but I would prefer if you just went away.
So you did just say something. I don't know if I miss, because we moved on to the sort of more what we call the Norse gods.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you did say. Did you say that the church was sacred ground as well?
Yes, it is.
It is.
It is.
So it's actually consecrated.
It is consecrated. That's the word. Yeah, it
Okay.
is. It is part of St. Caterina Parish.
Yeah.
In Ribe.
I didn't know that.
It is an actual church, so you can use it for churchy stuff.
Does anybody?
We use it at Easter and at Christmas for just like regular, you call it masses. So generally we meet up there, but or else we actually use it like once a week without anything that's like official. But we use it once a week, like early and late season. Where we have kind of like an enduct, so like a meet or like not a mass, because that's not a thing you can do without having a priest there or anything. But we sing some of the earliest songs that we know about that has been there in the early Middle Ages. Hello. And we do some Latin and some Danish. We read from the Heli and the Saxon Bible, and we do stuff like that with it. But we're also very mindful of it being, an actual church. You can book it in for weddings and baptisms and everything. We do have like a big trough, so you can put a whole grown person into, but you also have like a plate to put on top of it if you want your child baptized and not dunked into the water. That is possible too. Yeah. So it is and it's also based on it's a reconstruction from actually not.
Arish, if you want to make noise, go over there, love. I'm trying to talk. No.
So, but it's a reconstruction actually from a church in Turstal by Hamburg in Germany, because somebody put a big dome or cathedral on top of the first church in Ribe. Bastards. Yeah. You can't dig there, so like we can't find it. But you can see on the things that's been excavated around it that it has been there all the time. Yeah, but apparently you cannot dig there. So we are kind of maybe hoping for like a small water damage or something. So somebody has to go in there, just poke around just a bit. Not a bad thing, not a big thing, just small.
I mean, we got lucky in our village. Lucky is that there wasn't. Never worked with children.
I never worked with Vikings. It's from Kitty Right.
So the excuse was that we are Vikings. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. She comes back with that. Never worked with Vikings. Good job I'm a Saxon.
Exactly.
We have a more modern church in our village. But it was rebuilt from the original site, which was just down the hill. If anyone's interested, there was an episode probably a few back from this with the local museum manager, or director I should say. And he spoke a bit about how they found basically the remains of the wooden church in someone's back garden.
No!
And so they did have the opportunity to excavate it. What? And they even have the original Saxon font, which is now in the...
Whoa.
I'm saying modern, but we're talking, I think, like 1200 or something.
Yeah,
but
that's modern for us, yeah.
It's a proper stone building rather than a wooden one. And they're not even as far as us to the church now.
It's crazy.
But it's just higher up now than it used to be.
That's also interesting because, like, for example, the cathedral in Ribe, as it's called, yeah, it's you know, it's below level because you have all the cultural layers that builds up, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I'm saying, like 1 meter per 100 years or something. It's like
Yeah.
how much the ground is elevating around buildings. So
Yeah.
thinking that it has been like on a high point at some point, so the rest of the city has been 4 or 5 meters lower or something like that. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But that is where they believe the church was, and we do know that it was Ansgar who came here because somebody wrote that down. I guess they were Christian because they tend to write stuff down.
Yep.
And said that he could build a church here, and
Yeah.
you know that the other church was also one of his making, so that's why we chose that that structure.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's like really qualified guesswork, isn't it,
Yeah.
to do this, because you know so little about so many things, and just have to like be true to your own way of thinking, being like, okay, I cannot put myself in their place, because my cultural understanding is not like the one in the Viking Age or anything like that. So you just have to be mindful of that when
On the
you're trying
chest.
to understand things. Like we had in the last week, we did have a lot of sacrifice. Thank you. Where we chose to sacrifice people. We did not do that. It was, of course, it was a play.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes, thank you. Nobody got hurt at all.
Yeah.
Somebody was poured out over with water and got a bit frightened. And that's okay. Cold,
Yeah.
lukewarm, nice water. But the point was just that somebody was feeling like it was unnervingly non-consensual.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that is true.
Yeah.
And the people that was in it was, of course, asked about all these things, but that is not necessarily, don't get me wrong, a bad feeling to get from this, because it is another culture, like you're depicting something else.
Yeah.
And if you had that response to it, then it wakes something in you that is interesting to talk about or to clarify, something like that. And it also, it's a really good talking point to say, okay, this was weird in a way that I have to, you know, to think a bit about, like what was wrong with this, and that also makes you think.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely saying that you should
Go
always
all the way.
ask your actors whether you can pour water on them or drag them away. But the reaction that your audience will have to that can be interesting, even though it's not warm and fuzzy, if that makes sense.
It
So
does.
that's well, I think like it's like you have to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's our place is wonderful. It's reconstructed 3 kilometers south of Ribe, because somebody decided to build like a modern town where the excavations has been.
Yeah.
So, and that town is also very much worth seeing. I would recommend that too. It's very quaint, and it was kind of left over when, I don't remember which king, but it was kind of not modernized. So it still has those like nice old streets and small, not even streets, what do you call that? Like just passes through between houses and stuff like that. So it's really a nice place. So yeah, it's I would say it's worth a visit, but maybe I'm a bit biased.
The furthest we got was Little. On the edge of town, I guess.
They do have good bake-off, don't they? No, but it is a nice place, and it's I'm not from here, so I think that's it's not as unobjective as it could have been. So I think it's a nice, really interesting historical place. I've rarely seen so many museums in such little space, like relevant museums, not just like the biggest ball of yarn or anything. We have like many interesting things, and if I'm gonna, if I start mentioning, then I can't stop. So I won't say any more about that.
Well, if you have us back again, we'll come back.
Absolutely.
And you can talk some more.
Absolutely, I will talk some more.
Because you mentioned someone else that would have liked to have been here that's
Yes.
on maternity leave at the moment.
I have a colleague who's on maternity leave, and we are actually doing a cookbook. And when I say we, I mean she is doing that work.
Yeah.
We also do videos and pictures for that, and it's recipes. So it's really focused on Viking Age, but it's also something that's fun to make at home, and that you can that you can see through. So there's no horse, I suppose, stuff like that is hard to get. Maybe it's only also just the pearl barley instead of the barley, and it's it's stuff to cook with your family on a bonfire or at your stove, and I'm really and beautiful pictures all around. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that when it's done.
Yeah, as I say, I'll have to come back and speak
Absolutely.
to yourself and her as well. Um,
And she was really
Or-
sorry she couldn't be here, my colleague. She was like, why now, when I cannot be there? I was like, well, she'll then come back if we ask them nicely.
ask nicely. Just ask.
Just ask.
Just ask. We'll come back.
Just ask when, not if.
Yeah. Do you have any idea roughly when you think the book might come out?
Well. Stuff happens and projects are always moved around, but I would say within the year. Yeah, for Christmas shopping maybe,
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
I was going to say, because that's the other option is that if we can arrange, I'll order one, get it
Yes.
delivered, and I can always get her on via Zoom.
Absolutely.
So that it coincides with your launch.
That could be really, really good to see,
Okay.
like, the first thoughts about it, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think she would really much like that.
And then, yeah, maybe next year if we can come back, we'll get her in the kitchen and
Exactly.
cook something from the book.
You can do both. I mean, yeah, start with just,
Yeah.
looking at it, figure out, like, how do we feel about it? Is it accessible? Is it fun? Is it,
Yeah.
and then afterwards saying, okay, let's cook something together.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Annso,
Yes.
there are some questions that I ask every guest.
Yes.
I know you're aware of some of them. Not all
Yes,
of
I
them?
have just heard some of them.
Yeah, so we start with, if you had an unlimited budget, what would
Yes.
be your dream project?
Well, some of the things that we're talking much about out here is that the houses didn't stand for that long. So
Yeah.
I would really love to burn down a house.
Just straight in. Just burn down a house. Any particular house? Let's not pick favourites.
I would love to build one and then wait 6 years, as I found in the K-12 house, and then burn it down.
Yeah.
To see like what that does to it, and then continue to do that in the same rhythm, as you can see. So
Yeah.
burn down houses. I would love to try and do that.
It's an interesting answer.
Thank you.
Never come up before.
It's academic.
Yeah. Purely academic.
Purely academic interest. Want to burn down a house.
So next question, and I mean you're very familiar with the Viking Age diet. Do you think you could survive on a Viking Age diet?
I absolutely think I could. And I mean, that's easy to say, of course, but I do this half a year, and I also have it as a thing that I do not, pack a modern lunch and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to get, as much Viking food, or whatever you would call it. And I think, of course, there were some things you would miss, but as I said, like the salt levels, for example, suits me very well, and also like the stews and all of that. And pork was always my favorite. So I mean, I think that would be possible. The only thing I really do not approve of is like when you put cheese into barley. I do not appreciate that. Also, like the mutton risotto, I think
That's one of our
hard.
favourites.
Yeah, I know. I have the same thing with your other guest Sarah. It's like they really appreciate, and I'm like, I could learn to live with that. But besides that, I think that it would be possible.
Yeah, because we had the horse yesterday and that had cheese in it.
Yeah.
No barley though. So
Yeah.
are you okay with that one?
Yeah, it's a combination.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
with risotto. It gets too, beyond creamy in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of stodge.
I think that's
what
what.
we call stodge, sticky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually what people are going after when they're
Yeah.
making it.
Yeah. So is there anything you'd miss if you were living on a Viking Age diet?
Well, absolutely. Like food-wise, I'm really much a coffee drinker. Coffee with whole milk, my favorite, and it's really silly. It's carbonated water and coffee.
Yeah.
That's like my two go-tos, definitely. Because I think that's really the things that I would miss, and convenience. Just in general, convenience.
Ding, 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 ding. So remember I said to you there was a favourite answer that's come up before was convenience.
Exactly.
And because I thought of the question initially as a food or a drink,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
someone went convenience. Like, you broke the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So being able to just get something when you want it. I mean, that is just like
Yeah.
I have convenience in Viking Age because I manage to do this all the time. Go
Yeah.
somewhere with my little Becker spoon and be like, do you have something left? But people won't always have something left, and also like the work that you put into it. So convenience is really like what I would miss. So yeah.
Yeah. So the new question,
Woohoo.
only the fourth if you count both the Zibbitses. Zibbits, what did we, we did work this out earlier.
Sebitserne.
There you go, Zibbitsana.
Yeah, Good.
Yeah, so the new question was, what's the weirdest thing in your kitchen?
Ooh, I thought about that, and I'm gonna go with the spoon that is bent in a particular way so it can rest on top of the coffee, but also on the side of my pour over in a way so it disperses the coffee in the perfect way. It's a teaspoon that's been
Yeah.
both hammered out and bended in just the right way, so it
That's
works.
very specific.
It's oddly specific. If you ask somebody else, it would be my coffee grinder, which is like disproportionately big for its purpose, but it
Yeah.
just grinds so good. So
I feel like you're going to have to send me a picture of the spoon for context.
I will.
I need to see this.
I will. It's yeah. It's
We'll like
getting
flash it
improved.
up on the screen or something so people know what we're saying.
It was like really that or my but that's not that particular. It's like I'm trying to perfect the idea of having the what do you call that, banana fly now, the tiny fly traps in the kitchen. Fruit fly
Yeah.
traps.
Yeah.
Trying to perfect that too.
Yeah.
Because that could also be a good thing for that category.
What's the worst thing you've ever eaten?
That is definitely the blob from a whale. Whale blob, which is very typical to eat in like Iceland and the Faroese Islands and in Greenland. And we had some neighbors. He was Faroese, and they invited me over sometimes. Lovely elderly couple.
Yeah.
And we had dried fish. I love that. And then the blobber was there too, and it was just like eating an eraser. It is just the most spongy, and yeah. Ooh, it was there on my plate, and I didn't want to be rude, and I was chewing it and chewing it and chewing it, and then I think after felt like hours, she was like, "You can spit it out." Thank God. Yeah, so that stands out as being
Yeah,
something
that's
really
a good
yucky.
answer. The next question is, what's the most memorable meal you've ever had?
That's a good question because the first thing I thought about was a particular thing, and I think that surprised me, and that's why it's memorable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There is, I don't even remember the name, it was a random small pizzeria in a random small city, and I went in there and I didn't think much of it, and then I ordered their pasta, salmon, penne, tomato, random stuff. And it was so good. And it was just like, how are you? I was sure it's from a can somewhere, but it was just like, it was magic. And I've been ordering it like every time I come across like there's something with like tomato cream and salmon.
Yeah.
I try it because I have to find a thing that's just as good. I haven't found it yet, and I've really paid a lot and been to fancy places and random places, and that's still the best one I ever had. That has to be my answer.
That's good. The final question. You've died.
Yes.
Big shock. Your family and friends are preparing your grave goods. What food and drink do you get to take to feast in Valhalla?
I get my coffee with my whole fat milk.
Yeah.
I definitely also get I do not drink alcohol, so I also get my sparkling water. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then I get snacks, because I'm a snack person. I get sour cream and onion crisps, definitely. So it's snacks all around. It's like actually no necessarily well, that's a lie. Mayonnaise galore, like all kinds of mayonnaise. They would put that in buckets for me. It's like an aioli, a chili one, definitely. Like I even consider calling a dog mayo, because that's like, I love that. So mayo and French fries, that would be like the thing they put in my chest, definitely. Yeah. Mayo, French fries, coffee, and water. Maybe some crisps, because it has to be a bit more crunchy. And it's not fine dining, I know, but it's just like, it always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Could have been so awesome to say like escargot or something like that, really.
Yeah.
I also do appreciate a lobster bisque, but I mean, French fries and mayonnaise. It's like
opposite ends of the scale, that isn't it? From lobster.
Exactly.
To French
Those
fries
two
and
things
mayo.
together, yeah.
Have them all together. That would work.
It is good together.
Yeah.
It's like moule frite.
Yeah.
That's also like a really nice thing with the blue clams and the.
Good stuff. I want that now.
kind of where you find yourself between fancy dining, you know, fruit de mer and fries. I mean, what's not to like about that?
All good. Yeah.
So that's my answer.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for
Is there
having
anything
me.
that you want to plug? Websites, social medias?
Well, I mean, Ribe Viking Centre has a whole big YouTube channel of different. What do you call that? It's I don't remember the word, but it's just like videos about this place, but it's made in an interesting way. So you're trying to coin food in a way that also has a story and stuff like that. So you kind of, you know, you risk learning something without even realizing, because it's actually quite interesting to watch it. And of course the cookbook when that comes out, I would say, really, really good. And then I would say, like, if you're interested in the actual archaeological things, the museums in the western, south and western Jutland has a wonderful webpage called Sol, SOL.dk, where you have all the information about the findings. And I mean, I just love that it's available. So if you're a bit more into that, go check that out.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, thank you for having me, and it was great. And thank you to the chicken and the wasps and the cat and the ocean and everybody.
Everybody that was an extra guest.
Thank you for the food.
You're welcome. If you enjoyed the show and want to hear more, remember to like and subscribe and give the show a rating. You can also help keep the show going by becoming a Patreon, where you'll get early access to all episodes. Or check out my range of merch on my store. Links are in the episode description. Thanks for watching.